peace and power to everyone. I am doing awesome. In that indigenous fruit suite on 432. What we're gonna about, what me and the Remnant are about to do is bring you some more truth. Get back into the reading that we were doing. I just wanted to mellow you out first. All right, y'all. We're gonna get into it. I'm going to call my homie, and then we'll be back in here. One moment. Hello, everyone. It's Nina and the Remnant. We're back. Of course, I'm gonna plug our social media. Go over to follow Calamity Jane on Instagram.
Thank you.
Shia spreading his truth. Show some love to our beautiful sister, and also the Remnant on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. So funny. And welcome to my new subscribers. Welcome back, YouTube family. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, of course. I know most of y'all there. The numbers are still the same. And don't forget to go over to Twitter. I am Urban Intellectual at Styles by Nina. And also my Instagram. Spreading his truth. I started working out today. I found this, which I showed y'all while I was playing the music, that Hitler, about what he was telling the soldiers. And then also this quote from James Baldwin. It's really nice on there too. So y'all go over and subscribe and spreading the truth. Y'all feel free to get any of this history and repost it to your own timeline. We're trying to wake our people up. And before we get started, I want to address a couple of things. Number one, what are you smiling at?
Girl, I was like, okay, I know technically I'm on camera, but I'm like, come on, Miss Patty. Come on, Miss Patty.
Okay, so number one, it needs to be said. Number one, no, none of us are above correction. If you are using your platform to teach and we are a family, then family really stands the right to correct you. That's what you do when you love on your family. You don't watch somebody go down in flames. Right, wrong, indifferent. We have our differences. But none of us stand above correction. Number two, Miss Mary Brown. Thank you for all the knowledge that you share on everyone's channel. I hope that you don't feel that anybody is showing any kind of favoritism, because that's not the case. But a lot of people know you by just going through comments. You're always showing love, sharing your knowledge, what you know. But what we would like to ask you, me and the Remnant, is that you start your that you start your own channel, because we really do want to connect on what it is that you're sharing. But again, sometimes it's way above our head. We have no way of figuring it out. So if you start your channel and you could get us to see what you're saying, documents, clips, just so we can be on the same playing field. And then I'm sure none of the other authors would mind if you're coming in that comment section, because then you're informing us in video form of what you're trying to say directly. Because honestly,
be able to explain or expound on what you're saying, because for me, and especially with you being, a woman, or forgot that, because to fix that. Especially being feminine energy, it's like we need that. We need to hear what you have to say. It's just, it gets almost lost in translation, because I'm like, what she said? And I can't speak for nobody else, but I'm like, I feel kind of special, because I'm like, I don't get it. You know what I mean? And I recognize that what you're saying, there's a lot there. It's just, I don't feel like me and Nina talking together, we feel like we haven't reached the level of understanding and this truth to be able to really understand and soak in and let those seeds grow. So it gets kind of, What's the word?
Lost in translation, like you said.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, it's nothing but love, but we would love it. And welcome to what's the name? Do you remember the channel we've been watching? The young lady.
Dry Bones Rising.
Welcome to Dry Bone Rising. Hold on.
Yes, yes, yes. Shalom, veterans. Shalom, shalom.
Um, we just want to give you an official welcome. Uh, uh, uh.
I was so excited. I'm sorry that I kind of nerded out on your channel in the comment section, but your intro was so fire. I was like, I love it.
And y'all go over and show her some love. This is her intro, and these are a few videos that she has uploaded. Go over. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like, and just show some love. She's out here. She just started putting this truth out as well. It's nothing like a person that's humble enough to thank those who they're inspired by. That is a great character. Well, it builds character. I'll say that.
Mm.
So go over and show our sister some love, and we're gonna get started. We're gonna jump back into this document. Calamity Jane on Instagram. I'm gonna close these windows out. It slows down the computer. The Remnant on YouTube. You all don't creep us out. Don't try to find her on Skype. It's okay to reach out, but just reach out email first. That's a great introduction. You know.
And I think it's set up to where you can email me. First of all, let me just tell y'all this. Like I'm learning just like y'all. So if you're looking for answers, I'm just gonna tell you to Google it like I did. If I have something, I'll share. Even though the links are always provided in the video below, it's not anything like that as if, oh, we can't talk. Just we're living in perilous times, and just like to be safe rather than sorry. And by all means, let's get into this truth. But can y'all just put in an email on the YouTube button, please? Thank you.
Okay.
But I
So
promise there's no pettiness about it. Like, I'm not trying to sound like it just was kind of like, wait, what? You want my what? So, but no, and we're all trying to work towards gathering together. But just for the sake of us being in time of Jacob's trouble, can we just, for protocol purposes, shoot the email first, and then let's build from there, and then get to where we're exchanging numbers.
right.
I mean, that's how I stalk Styles by Nina. So just feel like everybody else should have to do the same. So.
And you did not stalk me.
Yes, I did. I sent you several emails.
But I mean, you send emails to everybody if you have questions.
I did. And to be honest with you, not everybody responded with your petty selves, but I'm not going to be like that. By all means, drop me a message. Let's chat about the most happiness truth. And that's it.
You mean somebody did not respond? How dare you?
Girl, I guess, when you get to a certain stage in truth, some of the questions kind of get redundant or they
Right.
seem super dumb or how can you not know that? And I would just hope that all of the authors out there, especially me being someone who still considers myself very new into this, like, y'all don't cut people some slack. Like, everybody had to start somewhere. You know what I mean? We all be on this indigenous truth. Well, maybe some of y'all did, but I didn't. And a lot of people out there did not. So don't wear them out too bad. We just trying to learn.
And y'all don't forget to go over to my website. We are selling body butter and body products. Go over and show me some love. I shouldn't have to say that to y'all, but I'm gonna start saying it. I'm gonna start guilting y'all, harassing y'all, all that. I'm running a business. Y'all support all of these corporations. It is no reason that you can't help support a small business of somebody that actually takes time away from their business and their family to bring y'all this truth. That's not a lot to ask. And so I'm going to start asking. So I'm going to exit out of here as well. That was a little plug. And yes, it was a little forceful, but y'all are used to me by now, so it is what it is. Right. The summer's coming. Take care of your skin, and it's all natural. I'm pretty sure all of you all buy lotion. Look up the chemicals that are in those bottles. Y'all slathering it on. I know it's baby steps, but not that baby. It's just like, come on. These people are poisoning you every chance they get, and you still buying the poison. We're not waking up to stay asleep or to keep going back into nap in the situation. It's like, wake up. Watch what you eat. Make sure that you're not buying meats from any companies or stores that sacrifice to other gods. I thought about going into the Indian market because they have a great curb market, but then when I think about how they sacrifice their hair to the different gods, I'm pretty sure some of that meat gets sacrificed too. So I ended up not doing that. I'm just gonna have to spend a couple of extra dollars to make. Sometimes you have to go to the farmers market, and most of these people are just people who growing in their own yard and trying to make an income. Hopefully, you never can be too careful, but hopefully they're not taking these vegetables and sacrifice, out there worshiping over them. But just you have to change. It's baby steps. None of us are rich. We're all working, trying to get it.
Girl,
Um,
I don't know about you,
well, I mean,
bitch.
in this system, if you're participating in this system, you waiting for somebody to cut you a check, one way or
No,
the
it's
other.
like out there.
I knew you was gonna say that. Y'all know she gotta be extra deep.
Girl, you know, 12 feet. 12 feet of the pool.
Okay. Well, y'all know what I mean. Like, enrich your minds. Change, make changes. It's baby steps. I'm not saying you have to be vegetarian. If you're eating or consuming meats, cook them in the healthiest ways. When I look into the word and I see how many times that people put meat sacrifices and they smoke the meats, and it just said how the Most High, it was a sweet savor to his nostrils. What I've decided to start doing is, when I do get meats, just grill the meats. If the Most High likes barbecue, that's the way we should be eating our meats. We have all this stuff that is, I'll say, convenient, but it says we're not supposed to eat the blood of the animal. And as we know, we use, when we baking chicken, we'll use that the blood that runs out. We use it for gravy purposes, but if we're not supposed to be eating the blood, you can't like take the blood that has changed to a different form and like make gravy out of it. Then you're still eating the blood. It's cooked. You won't look at it like that. Go ahead. What you about to
You said,
say?
I said, where you seen that at?
No, I was just thinking like I was reading in the book of Enoch, and that was the last chapter I was reading, saying we can't consume the blood of animals. Like, don't do it ever. So then that in your mind, you have to think about how you prepare your food. Even if you're boiling chicken in a pot, the blood is being boiled out into the pot. And I know it changes into a good old nice old broth sometimes, but it's still the blood. So I've decided consciously to start grilling our meats. When you're grilling it, then the blood is being drained and you get rid of it. You don't keep it to make a sauce. So it's baby steps. You reading this word, let it sink in. I know we like gravy, and that's all in well. But the reality of it is the gravy is the blood of the animal. Unless you have
Okay.
a flour base that you have prepared on the side, because my auntie, she can make a good, I'm talking about finger licking gravy from flour and black pepper and all that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when you are keeping all of the drippings.
Yeah, because that's definitely how I make my gravy. But I'm just thinking, like, when you think about what it takes to make gravy, what is wheat? I mean, what is flour? You know what I mean? Like,
Right,
I
right.
don't know. It's
Right,
gonna be
and we're
wheat.
not supposed to be eating that. We use cornmeal. We mashed down real corn and made a meal out of it. I think anything that's white is produced by them. They're mostly starches. They're not good for you. So even if it's switching your rice from starch rice to black rice, when you know it's better. All the dark fruits and vegetables is what you're supposed to be eating anyway. So it's just like baby steps. I don't always buy black rice because it's expensive. It's hell in Texas. My brother Uno is supposed to be sending me some black rice. Brother, I'm calling you out. I need my rice. It's cheap up there. Send me a couple of bags. I ain't asked for much. But I buy it. My husband likes rice. So if we have any in stock, it's going to be white because it's cheaper. But just take
Mm-hmm.
baby steps. When I can't afford it, I do buy the black rice. You cook it in a broth, which you can buy veggie broth. That's what I switched to. I used to get the beef bouillons and the chicken bouillons. I don't know how they make it. I just get the vegetable bouillon. So I'm making sure that I'm not eating the blood of any animal that they didn't stir it up in the machine. But overall, y'all get what I'm saying. I'm blabbling right now. Baby
That's
steps.
interesting. I never heard that about the blood and gravy and all that kind of stuff. That's interesting.
Well,
Let's just on any more rabbit holes. Must you?
I was
Must
gonna
you?
say, and I just put that together. Um,
Like,
the
I just feel like why you do? You be talking about me, y'all. She talk about me and rabbit holes all the time, but
no, I don't force her. This is her first time hearing this story. Fallon will force you to listen to her rabbit holes, and then she force you to travel down them. Like if I have them, they'll just be stored away. They'll be stored away. So, y'all get into the book of Enoch. It is the same thing as the
yeah, I heard
story.
that. That's why I was like, interessante.
It is
I got so much reading to do. It's ridiculous. Like,
right. Okay. So,
I'm going to steal this one phrase from the New Testament, which is, I already know, don't cut me, but when they talk about being, women in church, they talk about being a babe in Christ, chop off the Christ part, and just being a babe in this third truth. I just feel like I'm still on the boob.
right.
You got a long way to go, man.
We do.
Shoot.
And we have to get into these laws.
I apologize on behalf of my forefathers that we have ever fallen this far away. My goodness.
Girl, that book of Enoch is so good. It said that we would forget that God is our God and that we will be so far removed from Him that we will forget our feast days. We will forget all the days. And when you look around, girl, when you look around, it's the same story as Genesis, but it's not as long and drawn out. It like gets straight to the points and the curses and it move on along. But we're gonna get started, y'all. We 30 minutes in. What page are you on? Yes. What page are you on?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out. I think we're on 49.
Okay. Yeah, we sorry. We're trying to keep it short, but it's so much ground to be covered.
Girl, bad because I done sat and watched 3 hours and 44 minutes of videos with these other authors. They be making these long. I might not do it in one spell, but although we're not gonna do that, y'all better get some patience about you and press pause, get a snack.
Right.
All right, so I think we were on the very, very bottom of 48.
Okay. What's the sentence you're gonna start with in the month of April?
The month of April.
All right, so let's get it.
Girl, hold on, because this cellular device gonna work my ever-loving nerves.
You so funny.
I know y'all can hear that every time I make that little noise. Emails. Leave me alone. All right. Oh, wait, no. Don't leave me alone. Not y'all's emails, like work stuff. All right. Month of April, 1607, is the epoch of the first permanent settlement on the coast of Virginia. The name then given to all that extent of country which forms 13 states. Oh, that's right. Remember we talked about in the last video how the whole 13 colonies was Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. And that was me reading ahead. Oops, I told myself.
No, you did mention it.
Oh, I did?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, yeah. So, yes, the whole coast of the country was at this time explored not for the purpose of trade and agriculture, because there were then no such enterprises in the country. The natives not producing sufficient of the necessaries of life to supply present wants there being consequently nothing to trade for. But like their Spanish and Portuguese predecessors who occupied the islands in different parts of South America in search of gold and other precious metals. Trade and the cultivation of the soil on coming to the New World were foreign to their intention or designs. Consequently, when failing up success in that enterprise, they were sadly disappointed. Girl, hold on, I gotta zoom in because the way these eyes is working or not working. I'm over 30. All right. Where did I stop off? Okay.
Disappointed.
Where did I stop?
They were sadly disappointed.
All right, they were sadly disappointed. At a time when the precious metals were conceived to be the peculiar and only valuable productions of the New World, also they were coming for precious metals. Okay, when every mountain was supposed to contain a treasure, and every rivulet was searched for its golden sands, this appearance was fondly considered as an infallible indication of the mind. MINE. Every hand was eager to dig. There was now, says Smith, no talk, no hope, no work, but dig gold, wash gold, refine gold. With this imaginary wealth, the first vessel returning to England was loaded while the culture of the land and every useful occupation was totally neglected. Sounds like 2017. The colonists thus left were in miserable circumstances for want of provisions, which are basically food or sustenance. The remainder of what they had brought with them was so small in quantity as to soon be expended, and so damaged in course of a long voyage as to be a source of disease. So it was rotten and it was eating it too quick. Ooh. In their expectation of getting gold, the people were disappointed. The glittering substance they had sent to England proving to be a valueless mineral. Smith wait a minute. They was digging for gold. Gold was a valueless mineral. But the Queen of England got 59,000 billion, gajillion, quadrillion bars of gold in her possession. But okay. In their expectation of getting gold, the people were disappointed. The glittering substance they had sent to England proving to be a valueless mineral. Smith, on his return to Jamestown, Jerusalem, found the colony reduced to 38 persons who, in despair, were preparing to abandon the country. He employed caresses. I don't know what that is. Threats and even, caresses, like trying to coax them into doing it. Threats and even violence in order to prevent them from executing this fatal resolutions. Y'all can't leave. The Pilgrims or Puritans in November 1620, after having organized with solemn vows to the defense of each other and the maintenance of their civil liberty, made the harbor of Cape Cod, landing safely on Plymouth Rock, December 20th, about 1 month subsequently. They were 101 in number, and from the toils and hardships consequent to a severe season in a strange country, in less than 6 months after their arrival, 40 persons, nearly one half of their original number, had died. In 1618, in the reign of James I, the British government established a regular trade on the coast of Africa. In the year 1620, Negro slaves began being imported into Virginia. A Dutch ship bringing 20 of them for sale in 1618. 20. Okay. And that's from Sampson's Historical Dictionary. Somebody go find that. It will be seen by these historical reminiscences that the Dutch ship landed her cargo at New Bedford, Massachusetts. The whole coast, now comprising the old original states, then went by the name of Virginia, being so named by Sir Walter Raleigh, North Carolina, Raleigh, in honor of his royal mistress and patron Elizabeth City State University. I'm just kidding. The Virgin Queen of England, under whom he received the patent of his royal commission to seize all the lands unoccupied by Christians. Beginning their preparations in the slave trade in 1618, just 2 years previous, allowing time against the landing of the first immigrants, for successfully carrying out the project, the African captives and Puritan emigrants, singularly enough, landed upon the same section of the continent at the same time, 1620, the Pilgrims at Plymouth and the captive slaves at New Bedford, but a few miles comparatively south. Girl, hold on, we can't go slide past that. Hold on. So the Dutch, you had the Dutch come over, and they were in Massachusetts, but Cape Cod is also in Massachusetts. And it says the whole coast, now comprising the old original states, then went by the name of Virginia. So all 13 colonies went by Virginia at the time that the Dutch came and landed in Massachusetts. Are you paying attention, Nina?
Yes, but I need to know what paragraph you're reading.
I'm back on page 50 at the second paragraph.
Okay.
And I'm trying to see, because right in here he's saying that, because, okay, before reading this document, I was under the impression that the 13 colonies was the 13 colonies. And each one had their separate names, and they were separate entities, but under one governance, I guess. But in this document, he's saying that all 13 colonies were known as Virginia. As a whole, it was Virginia.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So when they say that they're important people to Virginia, it could be anywhere within those 13 colonies, right?
Right.
And then you had the British, you had the Dutch. We already know about the Spanish. We know about the French. I think the French were later on, but I'm trying to piece it together in my head and make it make sense. Because right now, I just feel like I'm reading words out the paper, so I need to. So he's saying here, 1620, that the Dutch came at the same time as the.
Okay, so I have a document pulled up. Where you at? Can you see it?
What were the original 13 colonies? Yeah, excuse me, my laptop broke, so I gotta do Skype on my phone, and it's like everything is this big. Can you read it for me?
What were the 13 original colonies in order? Virginia, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Maryland. Hold on.
Yeah, it does have 1620 right there.
Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Providence Plantations, Delaware, North Carolina, South Carolina, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, and Georgia. So even Georgia. Wow.
Girl, stop your line.
Wow. Some sources list different founding dates. For example, some sources list when the Duke of York established New York in 1664 as the founding date. Others list the date of 1626 when Manhattan Island later name New York, was bought from the local Indians. And this is what the NYC Lenape Indians, what's that other channel on YouTube?
Turtle Gang.
Turtle Gang NYC.
Turtle Gang NYC, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, we be on all y'all channels, so don't sleep. Like, people are watching.
Right.
Stalking a little bit. But yeah, Turtle Gang NYC.
Okay.
So the Dutch, I think that the Dutch were more that northern New York, all that kind of stuff or whatever, right?
Right.
So it says that the Dutch came in 1620, bringing 20 Negro slaves into Virginia, but I don't know where that is in the 13 colonies. But what if South Kakalaki? We're talking about the Geechee people. I don't know if they're African or if they claim a lot of African roots and cultural stuff and all this and that. What if that's them? I'm not saying it is, viewers. I'm just thinking.
I don't know. I do know that my husband is from his grandmother telling him that they are the Geechee tribe. That's where their roots start. So his sister did a DNA and it did trace back to Africa. But my question is,
But we already know what time it is with DNA, child.
yeah, but some people are from Africa. Even if it was just 20 slaves and their descendants, some did come from. It's just 1%. But my question is not that. It's just like, who thought those first 20 slaves would turn into 400 years of slavery for the landowners? Just
Right.
Allowing somebody to come in and being nice. We were just being too damn nice. They came, we were giving them little plots. They started asking for little plots. They became bigger plots, and they've taken over a whole country and genocided all of our ancestors. And people don't want to acknowledge the numbers, but we're talking about billions of people. You don't have to acknowledge it for it to be true. It's too much documented history out here. So that's the world we live. Who thought 20 turned into everybody?
Well, here's the thing.
Well, not everybody, Some people escaped it.
It's like we're scattered on all corners of the earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it would be like, this is the thing. Like, people, like, for example, on my social media, I had somebody coming for me trying to basically say I'm trying to deny that Africa isn't the mother of all civilization and all this, that, and the third. And I'm like, nobody ain't never say that ain't nobody come from Africa. Like, and there are some remnants of our chosen seed who were there as well, but we have a whole separate story, a whole separate history right here. This is the one I'm concerned about because this is where I'm from.
Right.
This is where all my come back from. And, that's not to take away from any kind of African culture awareness. Hell, I like a lot of African culture and stuff. I mean, that's what I thought it was too for the longest time. I still like some of it, for, I ain't gonna lie, fashion purposes, but, I recognize that wasn't my
history.
It just didn't match in my soul. You know what I'm saying? So to know that there's a whole other story in history, I'm focusing on that because that pertains to me. That's not to take away from all of that. Like, I mean, we all are connected, the chosen seed in some kind of way. We were everywhere. We have brothers and sisters and family everywhere. Can I just tell my story, though, without getting more wide?
Right.
Without Africa down my throat. Please and thank you.
And then while not knowing not one person in Africa.
That's what I'd be like. Well, I'm like, so you have like a distant great grand uncle in Zimbabwe somewhere since you're so woke, and you got all your family genealogy, you've done everything, but they all lead back to this continent. But okay then, because you're from Africa.
Shit.
Meanwhile, they look just as indigenous or amalgamated as all get out.
Right.
I say that you can't be African and amalgamated, but anyway, y'all know what I'm trying to say. We start trying to be so extra PC. But anyway, like, okay, so we're trying to figure out, and y'all bear with us again. You two could be making a video explaining your take on this, but I'm confused right now. So the Dutch brought 20 Africans in 1620 to Virginia to sell them. And it said a couple of paragraphs up that at the same time, the Pilgrims or the Puritans who were trying to basically come over here to defend their civil or the solemn vows in defense to each other and the maintenance of their civil liberty, they came to Cape Cod at the same time, landing on Plymouth Rock. So within a month of each other, these two groups of people, but who was the Pilgrims? Who were the Puritans? That's English. Duh, because I just read it. So you had the English and the, okay. Bring it together. You had the English and the Dutch landed on Plymouth Rock within 1 month of each other. And keep in mind that the Pilgrims, remember, it only took a month for almost half of the people who they brought there to die out from no food, starvation, disease, all that kind of stuff, right? Okay.
So
So back up.
So the Puritans were a group of England Reformed Protestants in the 16th and 17th centuries who sought to purify, in quotation, the Church of England from its Catholic practices, maintaining that the Church of England was only partially reformed. And
so could it be that those were, well, I don't know. I'm not gonna say that because I'm about to be lying. Well, they were coming over here for their quote unquote civil liberty, to maintain their civil liberty and that, whatever you just read. And they got their ass handed. So you know what? See, they came in the name of the Lord.
right.
And the Most High was like, I'm gonna show you. Some kind of way. A couple of them survived or whatever, but within a month of each other, the Dutch came, right, trying to sell their 20 slaves. And that's what they were talking about before, about not having anything to trade because the English were just getting gold and taking it over. Meanwhile, they're dying, trying to figure out what they're gonna eat, probably digging up our ancestors, eating them. I think you brought that out. Somebody did.
Yeah.
Somebody did.
I'm just in shock that these people came with this God or this religion we've never heard of, and we let them stay, and then they started trying to force it on us, and it's just like it wasn't even real. Like they don't hear inwardly, so they outwardly were acting out and ended up, in murder, crucifixions, hangings, feeding your babies to alligators, like all types of sick, twisted. Somebody religious freedom. That's why, man. All that. Anyway,
I think we're caught up. Well, I'm caught up. I hope everybody's caught up with what was going on in those last couple of paragraphs.
and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna show these pictures, and then we're gonna pause. I have to prepare dinner for my husband before he goes to work, so I'm gonna pause the video and then we'll pick back up. I'm just showing y'all though. These are the pictures on the Wikipedia that are related to the Puritans. You see the statues. This looks like things got out of hand, out of control. Okay, so we're gonna complete this thought. I was trying to wait, but we already 51 minutes in, so we're gonna pick back up shortly. Y'all hold tight. We're on page. Yeah, we back. We're on page. We're trying to get our life right now. Page 50, second paragraph.
Okay. All right. So just to recap, because for us, it's been like an hour, 2 hours, something like that. Just to recap, we got everything we needed from the last one. We know we were talking about the different colonizers, as we call them, as they came to Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the Spanish and Portuguese who were first, right? And then we had the English, which came in 1620. Remember, they brought 20 Africans. No. I'm about to mess it up. The English came on the Pilgrims or Puritans. Remember that, Nina? They came in 1620. A month later, their whole operation was halfway gone because everybody died. And then a month later, the Dutch came bringing 20 African slaves to Virginia. Yeah. So yeah, I think we have that down, right? And the reason why they was effed up in the game is because they came the only thing was a gold, blinders on, gold. That's what effed them up, being greedy. And then they felt like the metal was a worthless metal. Okay, I'm back. Let's see. Second paragraph on page 50. And it will be seen by these historical reminiscences that the Dutch ship landed her cargo at New Bedford, Massachusetts, the whole coast, now comprising the old original states, then went by the name of Virginia, being so named by Sir Walter Raleigh in honor of his royal mistress and patron Elizabeth, and the Virgin Queen of England, under whom he received a patent of his royal commission to seize all the lands unoccupied by Christians. Beginning their preparations in the slave trade in 1618, just 2 years previous, allowing time against the landing of the first emigrants. I'm going to say it like that. So if I say emigrants, it's on purpose. Allowing time against the landing of the first emigrants for successfully carrying out the project, the African captives and Puritan immigrants, singularly enough, landed upon the same section of the continent at the same time, 1620, the Pilgrims at Plymouth and the captive slaves at New Bedford, but a few miles comparatively south. The country at this period was one of vast wilderness. The continent of North America was then one continued forest. Okay. There were no horses, no cattle, no sheep, hogs, or tame beasts of any kind. At least they know. There were no domestic poultry. There were no gardens, orchards, public roads, meadows, or cultivated fields. They often burned the woods that they could advantageously plant their corn. They had neither spice, salt, bread, butter, cheese, nor milk. They had no set meals, but eat when they were hungry or could find anything to satisfy the cravings of nature. Very little of their food was derived from the earth, except what it spontaneously produced. The ground was both their seat and table. Their best bed was a skin. They had neither iron, steel, nor any metallic instruments. And that's from Ramsay's history, or history pages 39 and 40. Another dig, somebody find that. We adduce, sorry, my phone being petty. Gosh, can't wait till I don't need electronics no more. Anyway, we adduce not these extracts of disparage or distract from the real worth of our brother Indian, for we are identical as the subjects of American wrongs, outrages, and oppression, and therefore one in interest, far be it from our design. Now, keep in mind, now we got to see who all contributed to this particular report or part of the document. But this Delaney character, remember, I keep going back. He talked, like it says historically, that his parents had some kind of like royal African something or another. So this is how you got to look at this article. Take what you need from it because it's a lot of tea and juice in it now. It's a lot of good stuff that we could use, but okay. Anyway, whatever opinion he may entertain of our race in accordance with the impressions made by the contumely heaped upon us by our mutual oppressor, the American nation, we admired his for the many deeds of heroic and noble daring with which the brief history of his liberty-loving people is replete. We sympathize with him, talking about the Indian brother, we sympathize with him because our brethren are the successors of his in the degradation of American bondage, and we adduce them in evidence against the many aspersions heaped upon the African race, avowing that their inferiority to the other races and unfitness for a high civil and social position caused them to be reduced to servitude.
Which is it's total opposite of that. Because we were so fit and they are not, then why not let somebody do the work for you?
Exactamente. Why I gotta make that noise though? Sure. Okay. Any other thoughts before I continue?
Nope.
All right. Turning my sound out, child. This phone gonna wake me up. All right. Where was I? Oh, for the purpose of proving their availability and imminent fitness alone, you just said it. Not to say superiority and not inferiority, first suggested to Europeans the substitution of African for that of Indian labor in the mines, that their superior adaptation to the difficulties consequent to a new country and different climate made them preferable to Europeans themselves, and their superior skill, industry, and general thriftiness in all that they did first suggested to the colonists the propriety of turning their attention to agricultural and other industrial pursuits than those of mining operations.
Like building the railroads, which they credit to the Japanese or the Chinese. Who was that?
Japanese.
Yeah. The natives built the fucking railroads. Let's keep it real. And maybe there were a handful of Chinese that was enslaved, but I doubt it. Like, these people were here, and if the Chinese were here, because I hear stories, they had native slaves as well. Don't be fooled.
Well, I mean, I think that's something worth looking into. I don't recall off the top of my head if any authors went through it, and forgive me if you did. I just remember seeing stuff in history, like when they talk about like the Jim Crow era, all that kind of stuff. Of course, blacks or coloreds or Negroes, get. But then they also had like no Japs. They had something against the Irish. They had something against the Jews. But as we're seeing through history, things are not what they seem. So I don't doubt exactly what you're saying.
Right,
It'd
and
be interesting
then
for somebody to get into that.
And we all know they made up this thing about the Jews. So, in saying that they were so wrongly treated, these were people that were stealing your identity. I just showed you the sign with Hitler talking about how they stole God's jewels. It couldn't be both. There's no. I mean, just look into this stuff. I done seen too many documentaries. It even said that there was disease going around. And so they say Hitler killed all these people, but what he was making was a potion, so to speak, to spray the people with who already had contracted disease. And everybody know that these people's immune system, they're not even supposed to be here. They can't even bear the sun. So any kind of sickness, it totally enables them. They like wipe out. If he was spraying them with some kind of spray to keep his people from catching it, and also trying, because he said in a whole letter to the one of his troops that he was trying to keep them from stealing our identity, raising up, calling themselves the Jews, and knowing that they weren't. He was trying to do that also. So if a couple people got killed, yeah, but even the Holocaust survivors, when they tell the story, these people don't look like they suffered anything.
It's not funny that you said it like that. It's just like just how you said it. Just
it's true though, right? I said it how?
I don't even know how to describe how y'all. The viewers know how it came out extra petty.
Girl, whatever. That's our favorite word. We both are petty, but I'm not being petty. I'm just keeping it real. There's no other way to explain you paying people that are supposed to be Jews, but they're Jewish. Like they not all the way Jews. But then you don't know who the real Jews is. It's just like these people are all about schemes and gimmicks, and that everybody's getting paid off of your history and claiming to be you except you. When you try to claim to be you, it's a big ass problem. They need to see your grandmama blood type written down in her fingerprint. You know what I'm saying? It's just out of control. And just look at history and who is in history going into different countries murdering people. You might have some people sign up to join, but by nature, who just has no problem with going to a country like, yeah, have their guns. Y'all seen these YouTube videos. A couple of them subscribe to my channel. And they say, well, subscribe back. When I go over there, it's 3 of them in the woods. They know how to make a bomb with plastic. They out there shooting cans. Just some Caucasians. I click on and see who's subscribed. It's just these people come out of the womb in murder mode. And people say, well, kids are taught hate. No. They grow up and identify with what's around them maybe, but they just are different. It's whole books. It's this doctor. He supposedly cured AIDS and stuff naturally. It's not Dr. Sebi. It's nothing about y'all know how the news and people big somebody up and not dig on them first. They big them up first and then find out, oh, well, Dr. Sebi was an agent too. Okay, you should have dug before you beat the man up. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it was an actual doctor that wrote an article talking about how their kids, how they act and how melanated kids act. And of course it said African, but we know that's the hijack. But it was just saying automatically out the womb, my kids have rhythm. They learn differently. They kind of sing when they mama. You know how you call your mama? That's like you singing the tone versus white kids and how they talk to their parents. We've seen several times white women slap their children in the face. Like we don't even get down like that as far as discipline. It's just a difference. We're stern and strict, but we generally aren't slapping our 2-year-olds, slapping the hell out of their faces. You need to be in jail if that's what you're doing. If your daughter's 16 and she get out of hand, that's one thing. But 2, yeah, your ass need to be checked on. But long story short, it's too many documentation showing the difference in them and us for us to continue on pretending like, it's not all, no, walk like it up, talk like it up. If we weren't in the truth, we wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Like the Germans, the ones from Caucasus Mountains, we wouldn't have. They're all white, just like they think, oh, they're all black. I never seen a deal. Oh, he has blue eyes. He must be from Germany. It's just not. They're all white to me. But
baby,
hate to say it.
I think I recognized like before. I didn't recognize because you just know some people have different features, eye color, things like that.
Right.
But I was just under the impression that it was just amalgamation. Like for me, being a melanated person, thinking about different cultures and different races, it's kind of like, yes, I know there are different cultures, but it's like a blanket thing.
Yeah.
It's definitely out of ignorance because knowing now, it's like,
yeah.
On camera though.
Like now you'll look and you might be able to tell.
You on camera, boo?
No, I'm never on camera.
Okay.
Well, you can see me, but I'm recording the screen of the computer. Do you want me to pause for you?
Oh, no. I just, being a concerned friend.
Oh, no, ma'am.
You don't need to see all your kibbles and bits and things.
Right. But,
That's off topic.
No,
Look
that's
at us.
not. Thank you for having my back. But we know, and it's gonna sound harsh. I'm gonna go ahead and say it so we can move forward. They out of the womb are different. It's just
That's the point I was trying to make,
yeah,
was that in America, culturally, they force it down your throat that, we're all the same. In the streets is one thing, but in the media, in the movies, and all of this stuff, they trying to say we're one, we all bleed red, blah 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 blah, hold hands, hug, heal the world. But then when you turn on the news, all you see is bad stuff about your people. You see your people getting killed in the streets. I go out, professionally, do what I got to, you know what I mean? It's just different than what they try to tell you. And I'm like, I used to have an internal conflict. Like, I mean, I get it, but why is it such a thing for us to be together? Like, we're not the same. How
right,
about we be different? And at the time, I was like, embrace each other's cultural differences, quit trying to mash it together, because that's what's wrong. We're not the
right,
same.
right.
And let's cohabitate with a respect and you don't even have to appreciate it. Just respect what I do, and I respect what you do, even if you feel like you need to keep it separate. That was my thought process before all of this. Well, before I thought it was all the same, and then I started to realize we're different. And then now coming into this truth, I realized that there's a reason why.
Okay, because I was going to say, and we agree, disagree, because I just think if you want to do what you want to do, you need to go back to wherever you're from and do it there. Y'all have pushed all this
That's what I was saying
perversion.
before
Right,
knowledge. That's where I was at with. I was like, that's how I felt about it before. And then when you get into this truth and start digging through and combing through history, this is why I tell people, if you claim you want to try to be woke and you really start digging in this information, you have to be prepared to always be in a constant state of rage, like James Baldwin said, be mad all the time, and to really peel back and like look at what we're look what we're reading.
right.
How do you go and be like, oh, you're my brother, like you respect me, I respect you, let's keep it cool, trade, do what we gotta do, get this coin, do what we gotta do. But now I'm cognizant of just how deep it goes. I can't be just regular.
And we the nucleus. We found out we what keeps it all together. So there's no need to be kumbaya with you. Without me, you wouldn't
Like
exist.
you have to. This is the problem right here. It's documents like what we're reading right now, and hundreds, thousands. Most High only knows how much more documents out there really telling the truth, and it's only like this many people going through it, while everybody else is in la la land, and
Right.
while they're sort of repeating everything we're reading in these old documents, and it's like in my previously in a perfect world, none of this stuff would matter. We just, you apologize, give my reparation, my 40 acres and a mule, let me get on equal playing field, and let's just keep it moving. But now I see the roots, I see what it all stems back from, I see how long we've been saying this. People don't also realize how long we've been saying these things. We're a broken record over and over and over again. So it just changes up things, and I'm just trying to haul out pineapples because, man, this too, hashtag this too merch.
You know what?
Pineapples. All right, back on. You supposed to be keeping me back on the trail.
Just went on a 30-minute tangent.
All right, 30,000 minutes. Sorry, viewers. No, we're not sorry because it's natural. It's the flow.
Okay.
All right, so it says here, we're back on page 51 at the 1, 2, 3, third paragraph. It is evident from what is herein being adduced.
Hold on. Hold on.
Mom life.
Right.
Shout out to all the mothers out there. I'm not one, so I don't know what it's like, but good Lord.
Right.
Imagine if he would have did that on camera. I would have been like, okay. All right, I'm back. All right, so paragraph number 3, page 51. It is evident from what was herein being adduced, the settlement of Captain John Smith being in the course of a few months reduced to 38 after they had 101, and that of the pilgrims at Plymouth from shame, that's what I get from moving too fast. Captain John Smith's being reduced to 38 people, and then the pilgrims went from 101 to 57 in 6 months. that the whites nor Aborigines were equal to the hard and to them insurmountable difficulties which then stood widespread before them. An endless forest, the impenetrable earth, the one to be removed and the other to be excavated, towns and cities to be built, farms to be cultivated, all presented difficulties too arduous for the European then here and entirely unknown to the native of the continent. So that makes me wonder. He's talking about natives and by they being brothers. Could he be talking about the Mongolians? The Mongoloids?
No, he talking about you.
No, because
he coming from an African standpoint.
He's coming from an African standpoint, but if they were also here and like we're not those people, that's how we were able to be enslaved and blended in and mixed, and they didn't know who was who, or maybe they did know. I don't know.
Oh no, people knew. They act like they didn't know. You can tell an African. Do you want me to pull up a picture?
You can tell an African, but at the same time, like remember, we're scattered everywhere, so some Africans are related to us.
Well, there's. In that movie that you watching, just how he showed how they took like us and sent us to Africa. Yeah, now, but at that time, I don't know if they had started or not. But he's under the impression that he's from Africa. His mom might be telling him this story, or he's just somebody along his family line. So still, he would have to differentiate who's who. So, from an African standpoint, you would say the natives because you know that you weren't native from there. Even if it was incorrect, he still wouldn't be native here because he's from Africa.
It just doesn't make sense to me because of the descriptions that they gave way before that when they first the Spanish and Portuguese first came over here. Like if we had extensive cities and water, what do you call it? Irrigation systems and
all right, here I come.
Pottery, making all this kind of stuff. It's kind of like I can see that for the Mongoloids because they were, hunting buffalo probably and not really worrying about cultivating the lands. But that's why I was like, it just made me wonder. I don't know. We'll see. Do you need to pause real quick to handle that?
No. And about the Mongoloids, they was in a colder climate. So if you were coming here for trade and stuff, like we used to be big in tobacco, hemp, and clays and pots because Arizona, Utah, that is desert. So that's where the clay they would make bowls and stuff. We were traders as well. So I'm just thinking from an African point of view, brought into the land. That's why you refer to another group as natives. But we both right and wrong together. So we're just gonna keep on going.
Nothing I'm not claiming that anything I say is right. The viewer is gonna have to go back, do their due diligence because hopefully you're not just listening to what we say. When you listen, yes, but this is just for you to go and start to dig and do your own research as well. Like we're just presenting the document and our thoughts on it. It's not about like a right or wrong. Like,
right. Well, I don't mean that. I mean like we agree to disagree. Both of us have what is a thesis, and we're throwing both our thesis.
You trying to be petty, trying to play me, talking about me coming up with thesis and damn.
You do, girl. You a thesis queen.
Well, then I thought about it too, because at the same time when they got there, they probably were dealing with wars and stuff like that, and maybe that's why.
Right.
He's saying that they weren't built to cultivate the land because they was too busy trying to knock your head out, trying to make them do that in their own house. I don't know. I'm just thinking.
That's true too. Okay, but move forward.
Yes.
And I'll be right back.
Okay. For the purpose of proving their availability and imminent fitness alone, I read that already. All right. Sorry, we're at page 51 at the very last paragraph. My bad, got sidetracked. At a period such as this, when the natives themselves had fallen victims to the tasks imposed upon them by the usurpers, we should definitely look that word up, and the Europeans also were fast sinking beneath the influence and weight of climate and hardships. So this is what I don't get. At a period such as this, they're trying to force these Indians to do this hard labor. And it says, at a period such as this, when let me go back. They're trying to force the Indians to do this hard labor. Meanwhile, their whole crew has been depleted to, 38 in one camp and 50-something, 57 in the next camp. And this is all within a 6-month time span. You see what I'm saying? For one of the groups, how do you have the strength? How do you have the wherewithal to force these people to do such things? You know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind. So he says, at a period such as this, when the natives themselves had fallen victims to the task imposed upon them by the usurpers, and the Europeans also were fast sinking beneath the influence and weight of climate and hardships, when food could not be obtained, nor the common conveniences of life procured, when arduous duties of life were to be performed, and none capable of doing them, save those who had previously by their labors, not only in their own country but in the new, so proved themselves capable, it is very evident, at the most natural consequence, the Africans were resorted to for the performance of every duty common to domestic life. Damn service dog, pretty much. There were no laborers known to the colonists from Cape Cod to Cape Lookout than those of the African race.
Hold on.
But they only brought 20.
Hold on.
Okay. All right. One more time at page 52. There were no laborers known to the colonists from Cape Cod to Cape Lookout than those of the African race. You want to check it real quick and see?
Yep. Hold on.